Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is back on solid ground tonight after launching himself into space in his own Blue Origin spacecraft. The flight barely lasted 10 minutes, but the billionaire's journey will live on in history. He called his voyage a life-changing event.
On how it felt, oh my God! My expectations were high and they were dramatically exceeded.
But how is it going to change the future of space travel?
We're going to build a road to space so that our kids and their kids can build the future.
Blue Origin plans 2 more missions to space later this year, signaling tourism in space is open for business. The panel is back. Chris Bedford, Leslie Marshall, and Beverly Hallberg. Leslie, I am not going to be a McDowell, as my mother would have said, and be negative and pessimistic. I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. And I watched this and I just thought, you know what, this is private industry and private money that is taking over the move into space. It's Musk, it's Richard Branson. This is the future. Oh, the sky is literally the limit. I thought this was awesome.
Okay, Dig, and then I'll be your pessimist and naysayer. Okay, maybe it's the liberal in me, girl. But here's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm looking at pictures online, and somebody's like, "This is a billionaire going to space," and this is somebody in a dumpster looking for their meal. Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos. You know, in the Bible it says, "To whom much is given, much is expected." A bit of a paraphrasing of Luke there, and that's how I was raised. I will never have that kind of money, but if I did, you can bet space is not where I'd be going. Dolly Parton, and I know you love her, Dagan, Dolly Parton gave $1 million to help create and invent and find a vaccine to help people because people were and still are dying from COVID.
Leslie,
that would be money better spent than going to space.
At the event, okay, space, you want to be afraid of what China is doing in terms of the space race and our military. And be optimistic about what we're going to discover in space, where it's easier to harness solar energy, for example. And Chris Bedford, at the end of this event, I can't believe it's like the world's worst midlife crisis that Jeff Bezos is suffering. But he gave $100 million to Van Jones in a Courage and Civility Award. And everything about it was inspirational. What about inspiring kids to achieve? It's like you look to the skies and into space and it makes you want to do anything. What about that?
I mean, I think it was a great space adventure, aside from the fact that it kind of looked a lot like the Austin Powers spacecraft Dr. Evil escaped in. I think it was a great thing, and I think we should be exploring, we should be pushing. It's sad that NASA's not leading the way on this anymore, and that it has come down to private individuals. Although I was less uplifted by some of the charity, to join some of the pessimism here. I don't think giving $100 million to somebody who's worth $5 million in the 1% is that great, nor do I think giving $100 million to Jose Andres, who was worth 10 times more, which he also did, is that great. I think there's a lot of people who could benefit to that. To Leslie's point, but the space part, that is fantastic. China, as you mentioned, is helping, catching up with us dramatically. They're not going to be an ally. We need to be up there, and that's the future. Humankind is an exploratory race, and it's great to see that back in action.
Well, I can't believe, Chris, you were talking about, oh, I wish NASA was in it. Well, the government, it was becoming extremely costly. We were hitching rides with the Russians to the space station, and the political will, it lost political clout, so the lawmakers turned their backs on space. So if it's for private industry, it's like, you made our lives better with Amazon, now take us to space and make our lives better that way. Beverly, final word on this topic.
The only mistake I see in all of this was the cowboy hat that he wore in his press conference. I think he should never wear that hat again. But I agree that I think if we want to fix things on Earth, which is the criticism against him, we're going to have to take care of things in space because we are in a race against China. And I also think the moral of the story is if you make products people like, you might be able to go to space, because that's what Jeff Bezos did today. And I think it's good for national security and good for the country.
Yeah, a lot of people weighing in on the cowboy hat. No offense to you, but all over Twitter who don't know anything about cowboy hats. And that, to me, looked like a bull rider's block on that hat. I could be wrong, but it looked like a bull rider's block. Moving on.